President Trump address Republican senators at the White House. And he goes all over the place and talks in a stream of conscience way. The press, of course, records all of this. So he got around to Kate's law. You remember that Kate Steinle was killed by an undocumented migrant who had been deported 5 times. All right, and I made a big, big deal out of that. Well, here's what the president said today. Go.
I hope you guys can pass it. And basically, very simply, it says that if you're an illegal alien and you come in and you get thrown out, if you come back and get caught, you have to spend 10 years in jail. Very simple. Very simple. If they would have had that, Kate Steinle would be alive today. That was a big event at the time. If you remember Bill O'Reilly, for those of you that like Bill, I think I like Bill, but he was the one, he devoted his life to that law, trying to get it passed.
And we have posted the president's full statement on Kate's law on BillO'Reilly.com. Now, I did talk to the president about, 2 months ago. I handed him a folder of the law, which I wrote back when I was doing the O'Reilly Factor, and Mitch McConnell killed it. All right, he would not put the law up for a vote in the Senate. I will mention Senator Ted Cruz was a champion of this as well, and he deserves credit. I think Kate's law is not going to get passed, but if it had gotten passed years ago, 10 years ago, something like that, thousands of lives would have been saved. And Senator McConnell is going to have to take that legacy. He's through, and I'm happy about that. But that was one of the worst mistakes that I've ever seen any senator make when he refused to put Kate's law up for a vote standalone, because it would have passed. So we are very happy that this happened today in the Rose Garden. You know that I have respect for President Trump. I speak with him. He responds to what I believe is just causes. You may not like his style, that's fine. I'm not in the business to prop the president up. I am in the business of telling you the truth. Okay? So I hope this Kate's law comes to fruition. I think it will. And it will save another, 5,000 lives? Once these criminal aliens are deported, they come back 10 years. They're gone. It's big, it's heavy, and it should happen. Now, the president also sent me a letter, and I will have that for you in the final thought today. The talking points memo is about Mr. Trump and the Constitution. I'm going to go over this very methodically. If you have a pen and paper, you might write some of this stuff down, because I am sick and tired of the nonsense that's going on in this country, the absolute fraud in presenting the facts of the Constitution as it pertains to we the people. All right, here we go. So the President of the United States has the power to combat insurrection and to protect Americans from harm. In fact, that's his primary duty. The president's primary duty is not to bring down food prices or to have global warming funds. It's to protect Americans from immediate danger. Okay? Number one. The definition of insurrection is an act of revolting against civil authority or established government. That's an insurrection. If you're revolting, if you're burning down federal buildings, if you're trying to kill ICE agents, that's an insurrection. Okay. There is an act, the Insurrection Act, passed by Congress, signed by the President, 10 U.S.C. 251255. Quote, whenever the President considers the unlawful obstructions, combinations, or assemblages or rebellion against the authority of the United States make it impracticable to enforce the laws of the United States in any state by the ordinary course of judicial proceedings, he may call in federal service such of the militia of any state and use such of the armed forces as he considers necessary to enforce those laws or suppress the rebellion. To enforce those laws is the key here, okay? So these judges who are blocking Donald Trump from sending guard to Portland, Oregon, to L.A., to Chicago, they are operating outside the Constitution, these federal judges. They don't care about the Constitution. They're ruling in a political way. Right? There's the proof. If you don't want to see it, people believe what they want to believe. Okay, my job is to tell you what the truth is. So let's go to Oregon. Oregon, for the past 5 months, has been under siege by anarchists in Portland, the largest city. They're trying to destroy ICE headquarters. They are threatening ICE agents. And this has been going on almost every day. And you're telling me that the president doesn't have the power to protect federal property and his agents? Come on, that's ridiculous. All right, and that is why the appeals court in San Francisco ruled yesterday that the president can send in a guard. Now, the radicals who don't want any of that are saying, well, we want another hearing, and they'll get it, and that's fine. That's fine. Let's right up to the Supreme Court. That's where I want it to go. Write it down. Okay. So Portland is a slam dunk. How about Chicago? Well, it is obvious that the local authorities, the police in Chicago, aren't going to protect ICE agents or federal property. That is obvious. I can prove it, and I have gone over this before, but it's worth mentioning again. So you will remember that on October 4th of this, end of October now, there was a big confrontation in Chicago between radicals and ICE agents. There was a woman with a gun in her car who tried to ram ICE agents. That could kill them, of course. The ICE agent shot the woman, all right? She went to the hospital, she's all right, and then was released by a judge despite the federal government asking that this woman be detained until her trial hearing. No, let her out, okay? Her name is Miramar Martinez. She's pled not guilty, but she's guilty as hell. Okay, everybody knows she's guilty, including Miramar. Judge goes, no, even though the federal government, even though you try to kill ICE agents with your car, I'm letting you out. No, that's supporting an insurrection. All right. So just that alone. But then we have a recording, because when all this happened, the Chicago police were informed. Somebody called 911, and units were on their way to see what was happening regarding the ICE agents and the demonstrators. And this is what the police units were told when they were driving toward the scene of the crime. Go.
And again, per the chief of patrol, we have all the units that per 999, chief of patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
62, we're going to clear out as soon as we can, Spot. We're like locked in over here, so we're going to do the best we can to get out of here as soon as we can.
So the local Chicago authorities will not protect federal ICE agents, period. There's no other side to the story. And that order was given by the chief of patrol of Chicago, John Hine. If you're a president, you have to send in those authorities. You have to do it. You can't allow this kind of anarchy and danger. So this will happen in Chicago, the guard will happen in Portland. Now, the guard is a unit that cannot arrest you because that's the Posse Comitatus Act, but it can detain, hold you until the local authorities come. Now, if the local authorities want to arrest you, the U.S. Marshals will. because the marshals are going to accompany the guard into Chicago and Portland. Because you can't trust the local authorities in Portland or in Chicago. Can't trust them. They're not going to enforce federal law. And that goes back to the Constitution. That's why the Founding Fathers put it in there, because they knew there may be rogue states, and there are now. There's no question about that. So President Trump is going to win all of these cases. And the Supreme Court is never, I mean, the three leftist Supreme Court justices, they don't care. But the other six are going to support the president. And I'll just give you one more. In 2013, the New Orleans Police Department, the entire police department was taken over by the federal government. The entire police department. Okay? And that was under Barack Obama. Obama ordered that. Why? Because the citizens living in New Orleans were not being protected by the police from violent crime. The cops weren't protecting the people. They just weren't doing it. That order is still in play for you people living down in New Orleans. 12 years later, it's still there. And there are federal overseers of the New Orleans Police Department. Barack Obama. And that's the memo. One more thing before I get to the guest. It is true that the National Guard, as we saw in D.C., will be a restraining force against criminals. But the criminals are not going to come out to Pioneer Square in Portland, Oregon, if the Guard's standing there. The dope dealers aren't going to come out. The gangs on the south side of Chicago aren't coming out armed to the teeth if the Guard is there. So yes, that is an unintended good consequence of these orders, and President Trump knows it. So we want to be fair and honest here. When you're buried in credit card and loan debt, it's easy to put it off and say, I'll deal with it later. But here's the thing. Done with Debt has a little known strategy that can dramatically reduce or even erase what you owe. This fall, they will aggressively engage your lenders because they know rich credit card and loan companies are doing year-end accounting and cutting deals to clear debt fast, meaning you need to start with Done with Debt right now, this fall. They can help end your debt fast without bankruptcy or loans. In fact, most clients have more money in their pocket the first month. So get started while you still have time. Go to donewithdebt.com. Talk with one of their specialists for free. Visit donewithdebt.com, donewithdebt.com. All right, joining us now from another point of view is Ian Kahn. He's got a book out this year called Undisrupted: Leadership Essentials on Business Transformation, Profitability, and Future Readiness. And he does a show on Amazon Prime called The Futurist. All right, so Ian joins us from Las Vegas. I don't know if Las Vegas is the future. They're having a hard time out there because, you know, the Indian casinos have taken a lot of business away from Vegas. Anyway, that's another story at another time. So am I making any mistakes in my analysis of the media?
You're right on track, Bill. You know, there's so much happening, and it's not just broadcast. It's not, you know, what Warner is doing, what Disney's doing, but it's this whole change in how we consume content. And that has really shifted over the last few years. I sometimes feel that traditional broadcasters are just living in their own world. They've been doing their own thing for the last few decades, but social media is coming in. You mentioned AI, and that is a completely new animal where you absolutely cannot tell if this person you're seeing on screen is me or an avatar, and how you can program it. So it's the era of deepfakes. It's the era of disinformation, misinformation, and anybody can put up a YouTube channel and talk endlessly, nonstop, and actually get some followers as well. So the scene has definitely changed, and we're headed into an era where we need to know what we're watching and if it's actually real.
But the only way that could happen is if the government then got involved and had standards of behavior that all the social media companies would have to adhere to. And I don't see that happening, Ian.
I don't see that happening either because the way it looks like social media companies are quite powerful. They're global companies with a lot of access to people, communities, money, power, and it's the stark reality that technology companies have become much more powerful than you would have anticipated, and hence antitrust laws, and hence the need to break them down. But some companies are much more powerful than the average American knows based on what they can do and the amount of data they have and what they
Yeah, and
know
then
about
they give
us.
money to the politicians and all that. So your advice to people of goodwill, and that cuts across all parties and all ideologies, who really want to know the truth about their lives and the country in which they live. What is your advice? What do you tell them to do?
It's tough advice, and the advice is don't trust anybody. Don't trust everything you watch, either on social media or on programmatic media or broadcast. You have to balance your opinion by dipping into different pools and get an opinion on various sources. You cannot absolutely just go with one thing and totally believe it.
All right, and that's good
You know,
advice. So, but that takes time, and most people are working, and they get the kids, and it takes time to go survey. I've been doing media for 50 years, and I don't know how much longer I can do it. I mean, I'm in good shape, thank God, and nobody can beat me, even in my advanced age. I mean, they try, but they can't. But sooner or later, I'm going to fall apart. But I look and people go, well, who's going to replace you, O'Reilly? Who's going to take over? And I don't see it. I don't see, and I'm not being insulting to the younger journalists, but they don't have the training. They don't have the experience. They're not going to cover wars like I did. They're not sent all over the world. They don't have any of this. So that the human element, the information carriers, all right, they were first fostered in World War II. That's where all CBS people came out of. World War II, that was a tough slog. And then the others, next generation was Vietnam, and then on and on and on. Now you don't have that. You have Tiffany from La Crosse, Wisconsin, who can't even say what town she's in. And I think that with the technology is really a deficit here in a way people are getting information. Last word.
Yeah, we're actually headed into an era, like you mentioned, of digital avatars. And I completely believe that in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll have, you right there, but it'll be a digital avatar of you, speaking like me, and programmed to exactly replicate your mannerisms, your thinking patterns. And people will be watching the virtual,
I hope
you
not. Well,
and,
we're not
and
going to.
enjoying it.
We'll call it out. I mean, as long as we have the platform, and we have an immense platform, as you know, we will not tolerate that. Ian, thanks very much. We really appreciate your expertise and
Thanks for
spending
having
some
me.
time with it. All right, Trump's approval rating actually has gone up during the government shutdown, according to Reuters, which is a left-wing news service. It surveyed 4,385 adults. All right, approve of President Trump's job performance, 42, disapprove 56. That is up 2 points in 2 weeks. Okay, next question. Who do you blame for the shutdown? Republicans are blamed by 50%, Democrats by 43%. It goes down by party lines. You can see that happening. And finally, should subsidies that lower health insurance be extended? Now, this is an unfair question, and Reuters knows it. So 72% of Americans say yes, healthcare subsidies should be extended, and 22 say no. But the subsidies are for a very select group. They're not for everybody. So that's what people think. Yeah, well, we want subsidies for the. No, it's not for you. So that's the problem. All right, another poll. This is AP, Associated Press, another wire service which leans left. 1,289 adults. Question number 1, how concerned are you about each of the following? Health care costs increasing. 57% are concerned, And the 42% not so concerned. Okay. I mean, I'm concerned about healthcare costs increasing. I don't know who's not. I guess the Medicare people and people who have good health plans in their corporations. Second question, are you concerned not being able to pay for healthcare? Extremely concerned, very concerned, 42, somewhat 24, not concerned at all, 34. Not being able to access healthcare when you need it, 40% are concerned about that, 24 somewhat concerned, that's 64, 35 not concerned. You should be concerned because a lot of doctors are getting out, setting up concierge services that cost you a fortune. I'm concerned about that. Okay. And final question, is it the responsibility of the federal government to make sure all Americans have health care? Yes, 60, no, 39. Responsibility, I think that the federal government has to have very disciplined regulations on health care. Responsibility that everybody have it. You got the emergency room situation. So I don't want this Canadian system here. All right, Donald Trump says he wants $230 million from the Department of Justice, the DOJ, because of the phony investigations against him by the Biden administration. Number one, that would be paid for by the taxpayer. So that's not good. And number two, it's not going to go anywhere. I understand the president's anger. He's paid an enormous amount of money to defend himself against bogus charges, but I don't think the folks are going to pay for it. That would be in court forever. Ready for the flu season or not? Too many families wait until they're sick and rush to urgent care. Don't make that mistake. Be proactive. Start preparing now with All Family Pharmacy. They're different from the big chains. They don't push flu shots as the only answer. Instead, they believe in medical freedom, giving you access to real options. More than 200 medications are available, from daily prescriptions to advanced biohacking products. Every order includes a doctor's prescription, no insurance required. So stock up today on Tamiflu, antibiotics, antivirals, ivermectin, even flu kits and vitamins for immune support. Orders ship fast, and if you need it right away, overnight shipping is available. Please visit allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use the code BILL10 to save 10%. Don't wait. Get ahead of flu season now. We don't talk enough about those truly making a positive impact. So let's take a moment to discuss Delta Rescue, the world's largest no-kill care for life animal sanctuary. Home to more than 1,500 rescued animals. It is staffed by trained specialists who provide lifelong care, love, and safety. They do incredible work. But look, it's important to remember that Delta Rescue relies solely on contributions from us. I have donated, and so should you. Their founder, Leo Grillo, built a legacy of dedication and everlasting love for animals. So consider making it a part of your legacy too. Talk with an estate planner. Check out the estate planning tab at deltarescue.org. You can make a difference, even get potential tax benefits. So please visit deltarescue.org today to learn more. deltarescue.org. Final thought, 2 months before Christmas and all of that. You can save a lot of money by buying your gifts now. So there are sales everywhere because they want to get rid of the autumn stuff and all of that. They want to move out a whole bunch of stuff. And you can give, if you're a premium or concierge member on our store, we're giving you stuff. We will sell out of a lot of that. So stack it up. Make a list. All right, here's what I want to give Shelly. Here's what I want to give Seymour, whoever it may be. You get a little thing, bump. Then you look for the discounts now, because once the closer it gets, they're not going to mark stuff down. Just a cheap garbage they can't move. The premium stuff doesn't get marked, but now you can find it. So, final thought, I want you to, be financially solvent. You can save 40% on gift giving if you start early. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We'll see you again on Monday. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.